How's it hanging, fellas? I'm OrosZ and this is another episode of Half-Life 2, and in today's episode we're going to drive a buggy, I believe. Also, this episode is strange because at the beginning of this episode I was like, the shadows are still gone, they didn't load it in, I'm sick of this shit. Also, the game was having some weird issues, like, first of all, sound disappeared, I can't hear anything. The game's fucking chugging for some reason. So I decided to kill myself and hope for the best. But I don't think that helped. Man, what the fuck is with my throat? Maybe I do have coronavirus. I don't know. I think I reloaded the whole fucking game just because it worked so bad. Did I click new game? Ah, please don't tell me I clicked new. Oh, I remember. This is the most fucked up episode. Look, it froze. Such a long fucking amount of time OBS just kept the footage frozen. It froze for like how long is this episode? 24 minutes. The episode was probably like 40 something minutes, but I had to cut out so much shit out of it. You hear the sounds in the background. I was playing the game. I was driving around in the buggy, getting to places, and I didn't realize that OBS, I guess, was fucked up. And half of the fucking shit I was doing in this episode didn't get recorded. So what I did, I just cut out the shit, because why would you want to look at a frozen screen for this long? Actually, why didn't I cut out this part? Yeah, what the fuck? Why didn't I cut this out? Anyway, I don't know why I didn't cut this out. Maybe because I'm a dumbass. Maybe because I'm a dumb piece of shit. Last episode I was shitting on Star Wars. A couple of episodes ago, I've been reading Half-Life fanfictions, right? See? You're seeing this? You can hear me driving a car in the background. You can see it for a split second. I was playing the game. I was just driving around shooting lasers. But it worked so bad. You couldn't, like, OBS just froze. You can't see what the fuck I'm doing. Why do I got so much hentai on my phone? What the fuck? What's the... Wait, what am I looking for right now? I was looking for a fanfic. Why am I going to my gallery? Is it gonna unfreeze? I was gonna check. 11th, you say, huh?
This is no time to be wandering around. The combine's closing in.
Alright then. I don't know why I just decided to check my
Colonel coverage is in the basement, Dr. Freeman.
school schedule. It seems like next week I'll still have free time. That's cool. I'll play some Rayman Free maybe. That's my intention. My friend, I think he still has it because I asked him recently, has Batman 1? Batman the video game. I used to borrow that game from him and play it on my computer all the time.
This way, Dr. Freeman.
I think he still has it. So I might record that too. And I also meant to record at least one of the games I still have on my Steam account that I didn't record it. I'm sorry if half of this episode is me running around breaking windows. But I just love this little interactivity you can fucking have in this game. You can pick shit up, you can just wreck shit. You can be such a dick. Everybody treats you like this chosen one. Like this hero of this awesome story. But you're going around throwing tables at fucking windows and just breaking them open. And nobody acknowledges that. They're like, oh, Gordon Freeman is here to wreck our fucking windows and break our mugs. Fucking dickhead. I still didn't get my new headphones, by the way. Still didn't get my money back to buy the new headphones. Whereas my fanfic that I was reading, I don't think I'm gonna read more fanfics. This is the last one that seemed interesting. Steve the Headcrab, Chapter 2. The experience of interplanetary teleportation via resonance cascade was not one Steve could ever have been prepared for. After a flash of light, Steve found himself trapped within a strange glass cylinder. Panicked. Oh, are you saying at the beginning of Half-Life when there's a headcrab in like a tube? That's Steve? Okay. I guess rewatch my Half-Life 1 Let's Play and you may see me kill Steve. Oh, he's British. Shooting gunships with rockets cause it to explode. You understand, man?
You can steer your rocket past the gunship's defenses and prevent it from shooting down your rocket.
Man, he's not fucking dumbass.
But if you can survive long enough to make
He sounds like
hits, you'll be rewarded with
Inspector Gadget, except more British.
into combat. Ah, yes.
Oh, give me that. Give me that
Ask for a finer volunteer.
giant fucking rocket launcher. Thanks, bro.
Cubbage at your service.
Cubbage. Anyway, where's my... Where did I finish that? After a flash of light, Steve found himself trapped within a strange glass cylinder. Panicked, he slammed himself against the glass over and over again, but to no avail. You got to be kidding me, Steve thought. All those months of military training wasted. Had the humans set a trap for him? Was he set up by his superiors to be captured, or was he just in the wrong place at the wrong time? All these thoughts swirling around in Steve's head were cut short as he suddenly noticed an orange blur fly past him. He barely managed to catch a glimpse of an orange-clawed human jumping around and flying through the room at breakneck speed before it vanished. Fascinating. Would you look at that? Steve saw another human. This one was walking towards and speaking an unknown human language. What an interesting interior. I wonder where its stomach is. The human leaned in closer to examine Steve further. Hey pal, get away from me, Steve yelled. I'm a great jumper. When I get out of here, I'll be all over. It'll be all over. Oh, you certainly won out, don't you? This was starting to get on Steve's nerves. Ah, great. They never taught us how to speak human in our training. What do I do now? Steve was absorbed in his own thoughts and tried to ignore the human oogling him. My, you're a cute little thing, aren't you? I'd almost hate to have to dissect one of these. As human began to formulate escape plans, another human entered the room, and the two began to argue while pointing at him. After some time, the first human approached Steve once again and began adjusting the glass cylinder. Steve had a brief moment of hope until he realized that the human was inserting a tube into it. Although he was worried that the human was about to poison him with some strange earth chemical, Steve considered that it may be a better option than being kept in captivity. So I mean to tell me the Headcrab I fucking murdered with a crowbar when I played Half-Life 1 had a family and military training? You mean to tell me every Headcrab comes from a Headcrab planet where they have little Headcrab families? What about the poison Headcrabs? Are there like some kind of different ethnicity of Headcrabs? Like, is there like a Headcrab Africa and that's where the poison one lives? Or some shit like that? I don't know, this is fucking weird. Oh, don't slack on the job, bro. Now time for sleeping. A strange gas began to flow into Steve's glass prison and he began to accept his fate. However, Steve noticed that he wasn't feeling very dead. He was actually feeling rather sleepy. In his last moments of lucidity, Steve heard the humans argue once more. Hurry up with that thing, Izzy. We need to get out of here. As his vision began to fade, Steve felt himself being moved around, and then everything went dark. Happy holidays, everyone. You may be wondering why I came back to this after 8 years, and honestly, I am too, which of the release of Xen and Black... Wait, what? When was this released? Oh my god, this was published in 2011. And the previous chapter was published in 2011.
Get going, Dr. Freeman.
The fuck is he talking about coming back after 8 years? Maybe coming back to like...
Well, that's that. I gather you've disposed of that gunship, Dr. Freeman.
Maybe he's talking about...
Reputation, sir, is well
Maybe he's
deserved.
talking in Havoc. If you're curious what I've been up to all these years, I have since updated my profile with links to my YouTube and Twitter. What the fuck is he talking about?
Caution when approaching the bridge. Radio
There's
silence
8
and that
chapters,
leads
and
me to
supposedly
believe
he's
this
been
is
gone for
coming
years
from
between
control.
chapter 1 and 2.
You're clearly the right
But
man
he
for the
wasn't,
job.
that they released in the same year. What the fuck is he talking about? How much time I got left? I'm gonna read chapter 3. Steve the Headcrab, chapter 3. Many years have passed since that day. Steve, or Lamar as he was known, now being called. No, so you're saying Lamar at the beginning of 2 is the same fucking Headcrab from the beginning of Half-Life that I murdered with a crowbar, but now he's miraculously alive. Is that a word, By a miracle he's still alive. Many years have passed since that day. Steve, or Lamar as he was now being told, was imprisoned by an awful human Kleiner and was soon relocated to his laboratory in City 17. As much as he hated to admit it, Steve was better off with the human than in Black Mesa. After all, he'd rather be alive than decimated in a nuclear detonation. Though after being deep-beaked and losing most of his dignity, he sometimes thought otherwise. As for why he continued to stay with the human, over the years Steve has slowly begun to understand the disgusting human language, and Kleiner had kept bringing up a certain word: teleport. Oh, good lord. Can't fucking breathe. This installed a small amount of hope in Steve. He now had a plan. He'd endure staying with Kleiner long enough for the teleporter to be functional, figure out how to use it to get back to Xen, and he'd finally be home. Plus, he'd be safe from the chaos going on outside. His plan was immediately put on hold, however. After the incident with the cat, he didn't want to go out like that. Stupid humans, he thought. Can't even get a basic teleporter right. If I still had my peak, I'd hop on him and make it myself. Sadly, he'd have to bear with Kleiner for a bit longer. Didn't Lamar escape? Didn't Half-Life 2? Like when he got teleported to the desert. I guess that's where this fanfic picks up. Because you don't know what happened to Lamar. He's just on a desert now. Then he could have happened to be free. The fence would be free. And whatever. Speaking of Kleiner, the human talked to himself a lot. It was one of the reasons Steve was able to pick up on his language so quickly. He'd often reminisce about Black Mesa and his co-workers, many of which died in that incident. He kept mentioning a lot of names, some of which Steve would come to know. Calhoun, Vance, Freeman, Colada, Green. Culada? That's a fucking name? He's one of the scientists in Half-Life named Culada. Freeman, that one was the most interesting to Steve. The human talked about Gordon Freeman as if he was some sort of a hero. The Borderlands especially saw him as a messiah. Steve memories from the last 30 murders, so many in Half-Life 1. His memories from his short time at Black Mesa were blurry. But he remembered briefly seeing Gordon Freeman? That weird human in an orange suit jumping around everywhere doesn't seem like much of a hero to me. I like how they acknowledge the way people play Half-Life, that they just fucking jump everywhere and sprint. They don't walk like a normal fucking scientist around Black Mesa. Fucking Gordon Freeman just hops around everywhere. Blah blah blah. The weird human in an orange suit jumping around everywhere doesn't seem like much of a hero to me, Steve thought. He didn't pay it much mind though, he only cared about the teleporter and getting home. It was a normal day at the lab. Kleiner was hard at work and Steve was eating his meal of watermelons. Kleiner claimed that watermelons was a suitable substance for a human head, but Steve was satisfied with any food. He was an omnivore after all. Wait, satisfied? No, Steve would only be satisfied when he finally escaped his place. Steve's train of thought came to a halt when he heard Kleiner speaking with another human through a voice call. Barney, from the sound of it. Steve was unfortunately getting used to the other humans and could match them to their voice. He was going to ignore them until, Great Scott, Gordon Freeman, I expected more warning. Gordon Freeman, that big hero everyone's been talking about? Here? Oh, now the things started to get interesting. This fanfic is better than all the other fanfics I ever read on my shitty ass YouTube channel that I recently been thinking about. What the fuck am I doing with my life? Why am I running a YouTube channel? Why am I running a Let's Play channel nobody watches? But then I was like, fuck it. This is my calling. This is my fucking job. This is what I've been made for. Run a Let's Play channel. The best Let's Play channel that anyone has ever seen. And shut the fuck up if you say otherwise. What other fucking Let's Play channel will read you a fucking Steve the Headcrab fanfic? I like this puzzle. It's a kind of shitty puzzle, but I like it nonetheless. Another petrol. Sounds like it looks like a Tesco. Kleiner spent the next half hour calibrating the orange suit that he had kept in the storage room. Steve swore he saw cobwebs all over the thing too. After taking a short break to wipe the sweat off his brow, Kleiner turned to Steve. Nearly finished now, Lamar. We'll be having some guests in a bit, so be on your best behavior. Kind of funny that Lamar sounds more like an alien named fucking Steve. That's his name, Steve. Maybe it's pronounced Steve or something. Oh, I'll behave alright, Steve Chipper, just until you get that teleporter working. Kleiner chuckled and turned back to the suit with Steve. Oh, Kleiner can understand him now? What the fuck? I don't think he can understand him. It was meant like a joke. I had to knock it down with the magnet. Kleiner chuckled and turned back to the suit, with Steve walking up to examine it himself. Apparently it was the same suit that Gordon has worn at Black Mesa, but as to how it came to be in Kleiner's possession now, Steve had no clue. Me neither, Steve. Neither did Kleiner, apparently. Since then it had been upgraded. Kleiner called it the Mark V, and was soon to be occupied by one Gordon Freeman. Steve walked around the side of the machine containing it to get a different view, when suddenly the room went dark and the shutter closed, trapping him in the storage room. "Hey, idiot, I'm still here," Steve yelled, annoying with Kleiner's egregious mistake. He eventually found his way towards the small strip of light that had slipped between the shutter and the floor and began to claw at the shutter. All his crisp and growls went unnoticed by the human on the other side. That was one of the most annoying things about Kleiner, among many other grievances. Steve at least had the decencies to unwillingly learn the human language, but Kleiner never even made an effort to learn his. Maybe if Kleiner actually listened more, he would have given Steve something more than watermelons to eat, for starters. Oh, and he would let him out of the storage room, but that was obvious. Kleiner would have to open the shutter anyway once Gordon got here, so Steve decided to find somewhere comfortable to nap until then. I feel like Steve is way too full of himself. He's a stupid ass headcrab, and he acts like he's the fucking superior being to Kleiner. I don't know. He's fucking a xenophobe or a racist. I don't fucking know which term is it. I never met an alien that I would think I'm better than them. So I don't know what the term is. Steve was awoken by some noise and voices on the other side of the shutter. Well, is he here? There you are, man, Gordon. You stirred up the hive. Gordon finally here, huh? Took him long enough with all the speedy jumping around he did. I thought he'd be here earlier. Steve chuckled with himself. Then he had an idea. As a punishment for locking him in here, Steve would pounce on Kleiner's as soon as the shutter opened. Sure, it wouldn't hurt him any, but it would really startle him, and Steve wanted to see the look on Kleiner's face when it happened. As he listened on the human's conversation, Steve noticed a distinct lack of Gordon's voice. He was able to tell all the other voices apart, but why wasn't Gordon saying it? Steve thought it was all rather rude. Not that he cared about human etiquette at all or anything. Seems to not give a fuck about anything, that stupid asshole Steve. Human etiquette or anything. Steve was so lost in thought that he almost didn't notice the footsteps approaching him. The shutter opened, the lights turned on, and he pounced right onto Barney's head. Felt a weird presence behind my back. Holy shit. Damn it, get it off me, Barney yelled. How much? Tossing Steve to the floor. Oh no, he didn't. Steve was having none of that. Thank you very much. He pounced again, only for Barney to duck, sending Steve into the wall. Ah, how embarrassing, Steve sighed. Regaining his composure, he jumped on top of a nearby locker to rest, and then he saw Gordon Freeman. Much like their last encounter, Gordon was still hopping about the room. Seemingly bored with the other humans, at least he'd have something in common, Steve thought, continuing to observe him. The humans didn't see— oh, is Gordon a half headcrab, half human? That's why he's hopping everywhere. The humans didn't seem surprised by this behavior, so Steve assumed that this was just a Gordon thing. Then Gordon started doing something strange. He picked up a binder and began bopping the others on the head with it. Once again, they didn't even seem to notice. In fact, wait a minute, did Kleiner just suddenly shift a few feet to the right? No, couldn't be. Must have been his imagination. He was snapped out of his thought by Barney getting a bit too close into his personal bubble. Get that thing away from me, Barney yelled. Fine, I'll be out of here soon anyway. Oh, that kinda ties into the previous fanfic where Gordon and Barney had a gay relationship. college dorm room. And Barney was upset with Gordon keeping spiders. I didn't thought of that. I actually should have maybe read that at the beginning. These things are so annoying. They keep working too. They're kind of funny though. I like them a little bit. If only they didn't dealt so much damage. You gotta get the deflector the fuck away. The gravity gun best. I don't know why I didn't figure that earlier. Fine, I'll be out of here soon anyway, Steve retorted. Here, my pet, hop on. Steve turned around to see Kleiner gesturing to his head. He had a better idea though. He spied the ventilation shaft above him and made a few jumps up to it, knocking down several objects on the way up. No, not up there. No, careful, Lamar. These are quite fragile. Steve ignored Kleiner as he made the final leap into the vent. He began to go over his plan one last time, still dazed from his rude awakening and rough housing with Barney. Steve was having trouble remembering all the details. Okay, Kleiner said, they're going to double teleportation, Steve recounted. Perfect, if the first one works fine, then I can hop right on the second one. Just gotta wait on the right moment, then I'll be home free. Although after the cat incident, Steve shuddered and shook himself to get it out of his head. No time to worry about that. This is my chance. I'll be finally out of here, out of this dump. Steve knew the ventilation system well by now. He slowly made his way towards the teleporter room, going over his plans once more. For a moment, Steve wondered if he was forgetting something like a very important step that could cause a disaster if it wasn't done. Well, it was that important. Well, if it was that important, then surely he wouldn't have forgotten it in the first place. As he approached the exit, he looked down and saw the grate below it. Well, that puts a wrench into the plan. Steve realized that he wouldn't be able to easily see the teleportation for himself without giving his hiding spot away. At least he could still listen to in on the events. It was better than nothing, I suppose. He eased himself down the shaft and found a comfortable position to sit in while he waited the results. He wouldn't have to wait long though. Very good, final sequence commencing now. I can't look. Steve froze as he heard yelling from a very panicked Alex. Then everything went dark. A light began turning on in the room below him. Steve was anxious to see if his escape plan would finally come to fruition. He had to resist the temptation to leave the vent and find out. Well, did it work? Kleiner asked. See for yourself, the voice of Eli Vance replied. Hey, Doc. Never in his life did Steve think he could be happy to hear a human voice, but that voice meant that teleportation worked successfully. And that in mere moments he'd have his chance to strike. Steve's heart was beating quickly, and the sound of the lift starting up made him antsy. He just had to wait for the perfect moment. 3, excellent. Initializing in 3, 2, 1, Barney? If you'd be so kind. 2, good luck out there, Gordon. 1. Yes, indeed, we're ready to project you, Gordon. Bon voyage, and best of luck in your future endeavors. Final sequence. Now. Steve stomped on the grate, dislodging it and leaping and letting him drop into the room. What the hell? What is it? Can't get fuck, I don't think I'll finish. Can't get distracted now, Steve thought, finding his bearings. Now where's Gordon? If you pet the freaking head humper. Steve turned towards the teleporter and set his sights on Gordon Freeman. Lamar, Heady, no! Dr. Kleiner, please were ignored as Steve made the most important jump of his life. He leapt towards Gordon and his vision turned white. This was a long chapter. I'm not used to writing long chapters. Shut the fuck up, I don't care. It was a long chapter. The episode's about to end. Well, I don't know. I honestly thought these chapters were gonna be shorter. They're pretty long. It's only the first one was like really short. I thought every single one's gonna be really short. I don't know why I expected that to be a thing. You know, we're reading shit that's this fucking long, and actually is written not as shitty as Full Life Consequent. What am I doing? I'm solving a physics puzzle. How cute. Oh man. That was a cool puzzle. I like that a lot. Get to remove the fucking stoppers. Anyway, see you fellas in the next episode. Bye.